What's up YouTube, it's Martin here from Cards at Home, back with another video, and today I can finally reveal to you guys what I've been waiting for so long to finally show you all. I mean, I've been holding on to these for so long, but now that the other previous trial decks have been printed and I've finally been able to show them off to you guys, I can now reveal these. The next two trial decks. And seeing as I haven't been able to print myself, they've been made on the Game Crafter also, but in today's video I'm just going to be doing a quick little run through of this deck here, which is the Psychic Mafia. It's a new clan that's come into the game, and then in a video after this I'll be doing a video run through of this deck here, which is the FED clan. So yeah, let's just get straight onto it. Right, so today's video will be Trial Deck 3 Into the Shadows, the Psychic Mafia deck. So to start with, we've got two Donman Mayuris in the deck. He's pretty much the main card of the deck, the main leader. He's got 3 life, 2 hit, 3000 power. He's shadow type. The whole deck is going to be shadow type. He's part of the Psychic Mafia clan, and his effect reads: Leader effect. This effect is only active whilst on 1 damage or above and only whilst in leader zone. Once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack, you can choose one unrested unit in your opponent's unit area. That chosen unit blocks that attack. And then he's also got an additional effect, which is once per turn, during your main step, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Then if the sent card was a Psychic Mafia unit, send 1 card from your reserve pile to the graveyard, and this unit gets power plus X. Open brackets X equals the power of the sent unit, close brackets until the end step. And then he also has an additional effect, just like all leader cards will have, which is if this unit is not in the leader zone, it gets hit -1 and life -2. And then we have 2 copies of Right Hand Man Fellini. He's got 1 life, 1 hit, 2000 power, shadow type. He's also part of the Psychic Mafia clan, just like all cards will be in the deck. And his effect reads: Interpreter. This effect is only active whilst on 2 damage or above. Basically, the Interpreter resolve effect is going to be the resolve effect that's going to be introduced into this trial deck along with the Psychic Mafias. It's going to be their unique effect. And that is once per turn, during your main step, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order, and place them back on top of your deck. And then it also has an additional effect, which is during your turn's battle step, if there is a Donman Mayuri in your leader zone, this unit gets power plus 2000. So he's basically just, well, as his name says, he's the right hand man of Donman Mayuri, and it just puts him up to that 4000. So you can get those hits in on those 4000 leaders that are usually quite untouchable to other units. And then next up we have 4 copies of Guy Frankie. Now with this card, there was quite a big error here. I must have uploaded the wrong image when I was making the card on the Game Crafter, so it ended up just coming as this. But it should have 2 lives instead of just the 1. But yeah, he should have 2 lives. He's got 1 hit, 2000 power, shadow type, Psychic Mafia clan, and his effect reads: 0 leader. This effect is only active whilst on 0 damage or above and only whilst in leader zone. Once per turn, during your main step, you can send 1 card from your reserve pile to the graveyard, draw 1 card, and choose 1 unit you control. It gets power plus 1000 to the end step. And then he also has the additional effect, which is why this is a very big error here, because it says if this unit is not in the leader zone, it gets life -1. So like, if basically with this error here, if he was not in the leader zone, he would basically just kill himself. So yeah. Alright, and then we have 4 copies of Hard Dealer Federica. Again, there was another problem with this guy. There's another error that was made. I'm not too sure how this happened, but down here, as you can see, it says he is part of the Dojo clan. But anyway, he's got 2 life, 1 hit, 3000 power, shadow type, and he should be part of the Psychic Mafia clan, but errors happen. So, and then his effect reads: he's got the vanilla leader effect, you know, like in the Heroes deck and the Legends deck, where you had Hogan and you also had Ken, where it's leader effect 0. This effect is only active whilst on 0 damage or above and only whilst in leader zone. At the start of your main step, send a top card of your deck to your reserve pile. this unit gets power plus 1000 to the end step. And then also if he's not in the leader zone, he gets life -1 to become a normal unit. Okay, next up we've got 4 copies of Family Man Cristiano. He's basically the 2000 power resolve card for the Psychic Mafias. He's got life 1, hit 1, 2000 power, shadow type, and he's part of the Psychic Mafia clan. And his effect is basically just Interpreter. Whilst on 1 damage, this effect is only active whilst on 1 damage or above. Once per turn during your main step, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order, and place them back on top of your deck. And then from the 2000, we now go on to the 1000, which is this guy here, Psychic Replica. He's got 1 life, 1 hit, 1000 power, shadow type, and he's just got the Interpreter effect, just like Cristiano, which is to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then rearrange them in any order you like. Next up, we got the 4 copies of the Psychic Mafia 2000 vanilla card. Just got no effect at all. His name is Casual Swindler Luciano. No effect, 1 life, 1 hit, he's shadow type, and yeah, he's just the basic vanilla card that every clan has. And seeming as though on the Game Crafter, they have a color filter when you print cards. So they make some of your cards a lot darker than what you would have originally have planned them to be. So with the background being green, it was supposed to be a lot more lighter green. But yeah, this is basically how it came out. So it kind of fades in with the life. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can see it if you look closely enough. And, well, most cards just have 1 life anyway. But when you look at it from afar, you could get it mixed up with having more than 1 life or not having any life at all, I guess. So next up we have 4 copies of Info Broker. Now this card is going to be also another card that pretty much every clan will have, but it's first introduced into the Trial Deck 3 and Trial Deck 4, which is what I like to call the Reserve Swapper. So he's got 1 life, 1 hit, 1000 power, shadow type, and his effect reads: when this card is deployed, you can take 1 card from your reserve pile, add it to your hand, and then choose 1 card in your hand and send it to your reserve pile. So basically, it's always handy for that. You know, at the start of each duel, you may not get a leader in your hand, or you may have like a spell card that dropped into your reserve pile, and you think, I'd rather have that. So this is where that comes into play. So sometimes if you don't have a leader at all, you can just get that leader quickly, just to have that leader at hand. And then next up is 4 copies of this guy, Espionage Esbar. Now, he kind of fades in with the background because he's quite dark himself, and then the background's quite dark. But I really like how it came out. It's like, it makes it look so mysterious. He's got 1 life, 1 hit, 2000 power, shadow type, and his effect reads: when this unit is deployed, you can choose 1 unit in your opponent's unit area. During this turn, the chosen unit cannot block. But yeah, again, I really like how this came out. I mean, on camera, you can actually see a lot more, a lot better than what I can actually see in person, because the background is much more dark than it's showing on the camera. And now we have 4 copies of Psy Kid. He's got 1 life, 1 hit, 1000 power, and he's shadow type. And he's actually one of the only cards that, just a little bit of trivia here, he's one of the only cards that actually show 2 units in the artwork. As you can see, you've got him flying in, and then you've got little Psychic Replica jumping in with the background flying with him. But yeah, his effect reads: each time your opponent's unit blocks, this unit gets power plus 1000 to the end step. And now next up, we've got 2 copies of Psy Spy. He has 1 life, 1 hit. It's the only card in the game that has 0 power, and he's shadow type, and his effect reads: this unit cannot attack or block. And he's also got an additional effect, which is after a battle, a unit blocked, you can send 2 cards from your reserve pile to the graveyard and send this unit to an open zone in your opponent's unit area. Then rest all unrested units and unrest all rested units in this unit's new controller's unit area simultaneously. Now this card could be very tricky to actually use to its full effect. I mean, you mostly you'd use it whenever your opponent attacks and you block, and then you'd use this guy's effect to send it to your opponent's send it to your opponent, and then you'll then be able to rest all their units that are actually standing at the moment. So then you stop them from being able to continue their attacks. Only problem is your opponent can also use this effect on you too. So it can keep going in between the players, and it can never attack and it can never block. So it's just going to be sitting there in either one of yours unit area until you decide to get rid of it yourself and deploy on top of it. And then next up we've got 2 copies of Linked Foresight Wayne. Now this card is just a generic leader searcher that every clan's got, but they have a different effect to do so. He's got 1 life, 1 hit, 2000 power, and he's shadow attack. And his effect reads, although again, there was kind of a problem with this card too. There was an error. It was an old version of the card that I made. I didn't actually upload the new version. And I do not have the program anymore that I use. I don't have Illustrator no more, so I can fix it up and stuff. So it is a general error in the card, a misprint in the card that I made myself. So, but I'll read you what the effect says on the card, but then I'll tell you what the actual effect is supposed to be. The effect it has on the card at the moment is, at the end of a battle, your opponent's unit blocked the attack of one of your other Psychic Mafia units. You can send this card from your unit area to the graveyard. Search your deck for 1 Psychic Mafia unit with leader effect. Add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, then discard 1 card. Now, its actual effect that it's supposed to have, which is supposed to be able to play with the whole effect of Donman Mayuri, which most of the cards are supposed to do anyway. It's supposed to be, at the end of a battle, your opponent's unit blocked. That's it. Just went at the end of the battle, your opponent's unit blocked, full stop. It's not supposed to be when your other one attacked or whatnot. So then when you use Don Manuri's effect to block with your opponent's unit, you can then use this guy to search for a leader. But yeah, it was just a general mistake that I made on my behalf. And that's all the units of the deck out the way. So let's move straight on to spell cards. Now first we have 2 copies of Psychic Reaction. It's a flash spell, and its effect reads, choose 1 Psychic Mafia unit you control, then reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. For each Psychic Mafia unit revealed from this effect, the chosen unit gets power plus 1000 until the end of the chosen unit's next battle. The revealed cards are then shuffled back into your deck. So basically this all plays off with the whole effect of your Psychic Mafia's Interpreter effects, where you can look into the next 5 cards of your deck and rearrange them however you like. You'll just basically put whatever Psychic Mafias you want to the top of your deck, and this card is guaranteed to get you a plus 3000 boost. And then next up we've got 2 copies of Dancing Shadows. I generally really like this art. I like what's going on here, to be honest. I like how well it came out. Just to have the 2 little shadows dancing here while the other 2 guys are confused up at the top. It's a flash spell, and its effect reads, you can only cast this card when your opponent declares an attack on a shadow type unit you control, and by choosing 1 rested unit in your opponent's unit area, other than the attacking unit. Null that attack. Basically in this game, you know you'd have, like in Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, you'd have negate, or you could just simply have cancel. But in this game, it's null, which basically means you're negating an attack or you're negating an effect. So you null that attack, then refresh the chosen unit. The chosen unit must then attack instead, and that has to attack the same target. And then we've also got 2 copies of Inherited Soul, which was also in the Heroes and Legends deck. But in case you haven't seen them or you don't know of the card, I will retell you the effect anyway. Its effect is a flash spell, and you can send 1 unit from your hand to the graveyard and choose 1 unit you control of the same type. That unit gets power plus X, open brackets, X equals the power of the sent unit, close brackets until the end step. You've also got 1 copy of Emergency Blessings. Again, this was in the Heroes and Legends deck, but I will tell you the effect anyway. Its effect reads, it's also a flash spell, and you can only cast this card during the end step. For each rested unit you control, send the top cards of your deck to your reserve pile. And then next up we've got 1 copy of Fatigue Supplements. Again, this was in the past 2 previous decks, but I will tell you the effect again anyway. It's a flash spell, and it says you can send any amount of cards from your reserve pile to the graveyard, then choose an equal amount of rested units you control, refresh those chosen units. And then the last 2 cards of the deck is 2 copies of Equivalent Exchange. Ooh, whoa. There we go. So 2 copies of Equivalent Exchange. Again, these are in the past two previous decks. It's just a generic spell card, along with the other cards I just showed you, Fatigue Supplements, Emergency Blessings, and Inherited Soul. But it's just the standard drawing card, which is discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards, and it's a normal spell card. So yeah, that was the Psychic Mafia Into the Shadows Trial Deck free deck. I really hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you like, give us a little like. If you want to tell me what your favourite art was, do go ahead and do so. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video when I'll be doing From Within Hope, the FED Trial Deck 4 deck.